Hello everybody, a very warm welcome from my side. My name is Thilo Hummel from Wagner. I'm the product manager for these two new Sprint 2 models, and I'm happy to introduce today not one but two new models of the Sprint 2 series. We have the Sprint 2 with some mechanical and electronic benefits, and beside that we have the Sprint 2 Expert with a complete new controller and a 7-inch touch display and a wizard for a new recipe. Starting with the Sprint 2, at Wagner we developed a complete new injector. We call it the Quick Link injector. Why Quick Link? Because it's very easy with just one link to open it, and as you can see we have all the air and the powder hose in one separate part, and it's very easy to access the injector nozzle and the air nozzle. You just can check is the nozzle still okay, exchange it, clean it and put it together again. We changed the type of nozzle from the PIF1 nozzle, this was the old one, to the PXS nozzle, and that leads to the fact that with less air we can push out more powder, or the same amount of powder with less air, so we save air. And based on that fact we reduced the diameter of the powder hose from 11 to 10 millimeters. And based on that we have a powder cloud which is more stable, it flickers less, and it gets a more homogeneous surface quality. Beside that, with a look on the cleaning process, we try to reduce the manual efforts for cleaning. Between the injector and the suction lens, we don't have this manual interface anymore, which I need to clean manually. That saves time. And beside that, we have the suction arm, and we implemented a scraper ring inside. And with the scraper ring, the powder gets wiped off when you pull out the lance of the cardboard box, and the powder falls into the box and nothing anymore around the machine. Beside that, we have both models in standard on 4 wheels, so it's more easy to move, very easy. And now let's come to the electronic functionalities. At the Wagner Sprint 2, we developed, or we made a facelift of the front of the EPG Sprint X. We did a facelift of the existing EPG Sprint X, and we added one new functionality. It's called the DSO. DSO stands for Digital Surface Optimizer, and you see a little magic stick there. Why is it a magic stick? Because this functionality has a magic function. Out there at many job coaters we have the problem that we have a lack of experienced coaters or fluctuation, and the DSO is the answer on both of these problems. So imagine out there's so many coaters who only use the recipe one, the flat part recipe. Wouldn't it be nice if we have the possibility to only push one button to make the surface better? The problem is out there, if they use a difficult powder or difficult workpieces, some percentage of the coatings will get some orange peel effect. And we have here some sample metal sheets. And on the first one you see the orange peel effect. And we have the one button solution to avoid the orange peel effect. We use the same parameters, the same recipe. Just push once the button, coat it again, and the surface quality gets better. And today we even have prepared a live demonstration of the DSO that you can see, not here as we have it here in the cured version. We even see uncured how the difference looks like on the metal sheet. With the Sprint 2 Expert we even have some further benefits on the electronic side, of course, with the 7-inch touch display, but even on the mechanical side we have some optional features. First one is the internal cleaning, the automatic cleaning. So it's very easy, you just swivel the arm on the side, use the flap here for closing it, start the cleaning button, and the system gets cleaned inside with a separate high pressure air to make the cleaning intensity automatic and better than we have it with the normal Sprint 2 cleaning functionality. Beside that, under the floor of the table, we have optional a powder load cell. And that leads to the fact that we can measure how much powder did I use for my job. I can set their individual users, so we have different user levels. And I can bring my own user to the system, and then I know I was working today at this time. I used recipe number 1 and I used 3 kilo of powder. So if I combine that information, I have a logbook which I can use for the documentation of the coating process. And on the back side, this control unit has a USB interface, and I can download this data. And if I have a VCOS system or a Coatify solution, I can upload this data via VCOS to the cloud and use it in Coatify. So all the documentation of the coating process, even for the pre and post coater, is included into the system. A breakthrough innovation of the Sprint2 Expert is the wizard. The coating wizard is the first time that for a manual unit we get some intelligence into the system. So the system can, based on this coating wizard, it's even a magic functionality based of 5 easy questions. The user get a proper recipe for every coating job. The first question the wizard asks me is the workpiece geometry. Do I have a flat part, a profile part? Do I have some small parts or frames? Do I have a grid? For our wheel coaters out there, we even have the wheel as a geometry, or deep coating. For example, if I want to coat this head module here, I have some flat parts outside and even some deep coating inside, or if you coat a post box or something like that. So let's take the deep coating as a geometry. Second question is the workpiece size. Is it small, middle or large size? I choose no middle. Then it asks me, what is the layer structure? Do I have a first layer coating or second layer coating? Because I need other parameters for that. I use the initial coating. Then the system asks, what is the required layer thickness? What my customer want, a thin, standard, or am I in corrosion protection? I need a thick layer thickness. I choose the standard. And the last question is the powder type. Do I have a unicolor or clear coat powder? Or do I have metallic? Because for metallics, I need complete other electrostatic parameters. Now we already could show the final recipe, but with the wizard, we do one step more. The system even tells me some recommendations for the application and for the accessories. So the system tells me the required gun distance, the distance between gun and the workpiece is here now 10 centimeters because I want to coat. I choose the inside coating, so I need to go very close into the workpiece. So 10 centimeters is a good distance. Then it recommends me the flat spray nozzle. I have it mounted. Yes. Then it recommends me the nozzle extension, because if I imagine that this part will hang there and I need to go inside to coat, I need an extension that it's easier for my arm. Luckily we have here this whole pattern and all my accessories are where they have to be at the machine. I install it and I agree now. Yes, I have the nozzle extension installed. The parameters in the background, they change a bit based on the nozzle extension. And I finish it. And now I have my parameter setting and can start to coat. Can try, do I get a very good result, or do I need to change something? Some customers might change the amount of powder a bit because the powder amount is very individual, but everything else the wizard gives me. So in 5 easy steps, the wizard gives me not only the perfect recipe, but even some recommendations. And I think that brings us in the whole industry a high benefit and makes the life for the end user easier. Beside that, we have a user management, some languages, we have some warnings, we have a service part counter, so the system warns me 10% before the lifetime of every wear part is worn out, and I get a second warning after the lifetime is out. So it's similar to a car which warns me when I have to go to the service. We have way more of functionalities inside. We have the possibility to get in contact, or you get the education package in our academy or something like that, to get more details about all the possibilities of the control unit. Yeah, I think that's the main advantages which we have. You see, it's not only a touch screen, it is way more. With the Wizard, we bring more functionality to the end user. And some of you might think about, okay, the touch screen, will it really work in the area with powder? Or some of you might work with some gloves. Please bear in mind that the gloves need to be ESD functionality, and there are even touchscreen possible gloves. And as you can see, it really works very good. The reaction is perfect, and it works like you work without the gloves. And we have some Gorilla Glass on the display, and that leads to the fact that we don't await any damages or scratches in the display. So even in the rough powder area, this display works as a smartphone as we know it. Yeah, I'm happy to be able to present you today these two models. For the availability, the Sprint 2 is already ready to order. Since May, we deliver out the first units. The demand is very high. So if you're fast, you get one of the first ones. And for the Sprint 2 Expert, we're still in the certification process and make the last steps of improving the UX UI concept. And in November, December, so until end of the year, we are able to deliver the first units of the Sprint 2 Expert as well. So if you're interested, please get in contact with our partners or with our sales team. And thank you for the attention.